good, man? It's East and Child Podcast with your one and only host, Glory Boy, back here with the next special guest in the building. Yes, sir.
Yo, this is Noor.
Yeah.
Been good friends with Glory for a long time.
Oh, you went straight to it.
Yeah, I gotta get into it.
I like that, bro. He's a businessman right here. He said, man, let's just start. Let me just go ahead and let them know me, and then we can start this. But, bro, I appreciate you actually having me in your space.
No, of course, you're always welcome here.
It's a pleasure.
My space is for everyone that I grew up with.
Man, like when I first came here, I'm just gonna tell the people. When I first came here, and I saw this space, I'm like, man, this place is so comfortable. For those that like to read, for those that like to just sit down and have a good time with their friends, have a conversation, play games, this is a place to be.
That's what they say.
And it's very welcoming.
Yeah.
Very, very welcoming. And, man, I just want to say, bro, congrats to you. Keep doing amazing things in Buffalo. That's what we want to see, see our brothers and sisters, just succeeding in all different paths.
I appreciate you, bro. It's been a long time coming. We done tried a lot to get here. And just like those compliments, those people like you telling me that like I said, we've known each other for a very long time. People that have seen the growth and the way that we've tried our best to excel and try to do things differently.
Right.
A lot of people in Buffalo kind of like don't see. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, bro. It's a pleasure. But yeah, try to speak.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. But yeah, before we even get this started, before I start asking a lot of questions and getting the people to to get to know you well, I just want to say, bro, I appreciate this. It's what kind of drink is this, bro?
It's a tiramisu latte. Cheers.
Man, this joint look nice. Cheers, brother. Cheers. This look nice. I don't even want to use the straw, bro.
You're gonna get a whole bunch left on your lip.
Wow. I just want to say it. So smooth. But yeah, bro. So tell us a little bit about yourself, though. Where you was born and where you just grew up and started finding yourself.
Well, my father's from Ethiopia. My mother's from India. I was born in Pakistan. And just, I came to America when I was really young, kind of like grew up here. I like to tell people I'm as American as apple pie. Well, it's just, I grew up here. I had the experience with all friends. And kind of like one thing about Buffalo that you'll notice is we're a very diverse community. As segregated as we are, like they say, we're very diverse. There's people from all over the continent. There's people from all over Asia. And we try to stay committed and be examples for people in our communities.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, one example also with Buffalo is the Bills.
Oh, yeah.
Chicken wings and so on. It just brings people together, the diversity and taste of Buffalo.
Yep.
There's a lot of things that goes on in this city that kind of brings everybody together. But also just, when you first came to America, how did you feel? Because I know we had a little conversation beforehand. You didn't really experience Pakistan as much.
Yeah.
But coming to America, how was the feeling?
The feeling coming to America was like, oh man, these people think different. The way that they go about business, the way that they go about work, the way that they go about their lives, it's kind of like, it's almost as if it's not taken as serious.
Right.
It's like, we'll be okay, everything will be okay. But overseas, it's more of like, oh, we're going to work for it. We're going to earn it. We are going to find a way to provide and sustain and try to excel ourselves to the next level. Meanwhile, there's not the opportunities. Here, there's an opportunity left, right, center. All you got to do is find it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing, too. That's what sometimes when I don't know, people have their own problems that they deal with. But, sometimes when I see people that are capable of, doing certain things and not just taking that opportunity, bro, I'm like, man, people back home will kill for it.
Dude, I was just in India in 2022. I got married there in late 2022, November. I've been married for around 2 years. But when I went to India and I saw the life of, and India's the country of my mother, the life of my uncles and aunts and my cousins, and I thought about it, I was like, it kind of gave me that awakening moment. I had a culture shock going back home. I grew up here, I went back there and I'm like, oh my God, they don't have nearly as much as us, but they're all so much happier.
Right.
And if they were given even a tenth of the opportunity that's here, they would make a killing. They're all smart. They're genius.
Very, bro.
You
Very.
know?
I mean, we see a lot of people that come from different parts of the world, that come here and they study here and then they just want to stay
Yeah.
because they know if they go back home, it's going to be hard to find a job. It's going to be just, life going to be harder.
You go back home and you're one of a billion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, there's so many people that will compete for the same thing you're doing. You think you're good at fixing cars? There's another 100,000 people that are just as good, if not better, and they will try their best to learn more about how to be better.
Right. So let's talk about just your journey, just growing up and becoming a young teenager, going to high school and so on. How was that experience for you? Like, I know, just trying to learn the American culture has always been, something like we always wanted to implement amongst ourselves. But like for you yourself, like how did that go for you as a young teenager?
To be honest, like Buffalo during the time period where I grew up, it was a lot of like almost like gang violence, but it wasn't gang violence. It was more like gang affiliations and things of that sort. So being someone that was considered an outsider from the rest, being someone that's just like, I consider myself African first. So being an African, you see other people that look like me, African Americans. They look like me. They move around like me. But I saw so many getting involved in like gang types of like activities. And growing up, I'm like, oh, is that the opportunity that I'm going to be given? Is that what I'm going to go with? And just realizing as I got older and older and going through those years, those teenage years, looking around, I'm like, okay, yeah, that is somewhat of an opportunity that may entail to a lot of different consequences.
Right.
But just like finding a different avenue and kind of like talking to other peers that decided, I'm going to take that avenue anyways. I kind of like found my own lane, and I was like, you know what, that is an opportunity for sure. But even though it's not the safest opportunity, it's a pretty dangerous opportunity. There's other avenues in which you can go through. There's other ways to do it.
I mean, that's why they call this the land of opportunities.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different things that you can do to find success.
Yeah.
Only if you chase it, only if you go after it. But also, like, I know, when you're growing up in high school, you always want to be surrounded by a certain group of people.
Your own.
But like, what kind of people did you surround yourself with?
I mean, so my time in high school, I went to 3 different high schools. I went to Lafayette High School.
Did you get kicked out?
No. maybe I could have done that, but I mean, my sophomore year, I kind of got kicked out, but then they realized like, yo, this dude's a really good test taker. We might need to keep him. Like, so my freshman year, I was at Lafayette High School. And then my sophomore year, I was never on time. I always went to school super late. I was always like...
Always had the tardy, that little tardy pass.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I was I'm going to come in at lunch. Lunch is like 12, 1 o'clock. I come in at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. But when I used to come in consistently late, the teachers, and I went to a charter school for my sophomore year, which they make all their money. They get grants. They don't get as much like federal funding and state funding. Most of their money that they get is from donors, and these donors will only give them the money based on the students' grades on Regents exams, on like, you know what I mean? So what they realize is this kid's going to mess up our record attendance-wise. So we're either going to have to get rid of him or we're going to have to get rid of him.
How did you feel with
Yeah, dude, they called me in for meeting with my dad after my sophomore year was over. It was like right after the end of the year. We didn't even take the Regents exams yet because we take a break 2 weeks and we take the Regents exams. I take the Regents exam like 2 weeks later, but in that meeting, they told my dad like, yeah, listen, we don't want your son to reapply to this school next year, so it would be best if you start looking for a different school to go to now. Then I go and take the Regents exams to finish out the year. I take the Regents exams, and not even 3 weeks later, they invite me and my father back for another meeting. They're like, hey, come back. I never got less than a 97 on any Regents.
Really?
I didn't go to class or anything, but I always got over a 97 on every single Regents. Like, I'm very fond of patterns. I'll look for patterns in everything that, especially with exams, like in the history.
And the Regents were hard, bro, for a lot of people.
It's like pattern based. If you look at the patterns, you'll be like, oh, okay. Well, in history, it's all in order. If one of the answers was 1976, the next answer for the question will never be 1971. It'll only be 1976 or later.
Right.
And that was the pattern that I found in it. And I was always like finding patterns in these tests, and I always excelled in them. They called me back after those Regents exams 3 weeks later, and they're like, hey, we gotta keep him at this school because his Regents score is bringing us in grants. Never mind. It's like, forget his attendance.
I wish you could just say like, you know what, forget y'all.
We did. Like
Oh.
my dad, we were like, you know what? You guys gave us the what do they call, cold shoulder. So we're not coming back here. What did you think? You're gonna treat us like crap and then just tell us to come back? Like,
And because you're benefiting them in some way.
yeah. So that's one thing about like Africans in general.
Right.
If you make us feel or give us the thought that like, oh, you're not good enough, or we'll never come back to you.
You never. And you gotta really hold that grudge too. Like you gotta say, you know what, they did me dirty.
For the rest, like anytime I ever tell people, I'm like, yeah, that school's foul. You know what I mean? Because you made me feel like as a kid, you know, these things kind of sit with you over time. Like, am I not good enough? You know, especially like my dad was like, education comes first. If the school doesn't want you anymore, he kind of thought of me as like, oh, his kid's not getting it.
Yeah. But like speaking of, cause I know I want to go back to when your dad found out that you were skipping school.
Oh yeah.
So like I know when it comes to like our parents, African parents, they're very strict on that. Like,
Oh man.
how did your father handle the situation?
So my dad basically, he was like, listen, if you keep going late to school, I'm sending you back home. You're gonna have to go to school overseas. If you keep messing around like this, I'm gonna send you to an Islamic school, boarding school or something like that. Boarding school is the go-to for African parents. They're always gonna tell you, we'll send you somewhere where you won't see us at all. You're not gonna see us. You're gonna stay and sleep there.
And those schools are strict.
Oh yeah,
You get spanked.
they beat the crap out you. You know, they can't be beating the crap out you, traumatizing those kids. Man. Like,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
God forbid, man. But like, so I also want to jump into, when it was time to sign up for college. Like, how did you, go about that situation? Like deciding what college you wanted to attend, and let's talk about that.
so basically, this is not just an African thing. I think this is just like an outside of the Western world thing. You got three options. Well, four. You got four options as far as college and your further education and what you're gonna be in life: engineer, lawyer, and what's the last one?
Just I think like a doctor.
A doctor.
Yeah, like some sort of a doctor.
Yeah. And there's a fourth one, which is basically a disappointment. I picked that one. You know, like no, I'm joking. When I finished high school, I actually thought I was gonna be an architect. I wanted to get into architectural engineering. And I went to school. I tried it for one semester, not even
Right.
the full semester, maybe like 4 weeks. And I was like, yeah, this ain't it. And I dropped out. I came back from dorming, and I was supposed to go back. My dad thought I was on a quick break, It was like a winter break or something, or
Right.
a couple of days off. I came back. I never went back. And my dad's like, yo, you got a couple options now, too. Your options are either you stop, like, you're not going to live with us anymore if you don't go to school. You know what I mean? Or you're going to go to school and finish out your semester. I ended up not finishing out my semester, and it ended up like my dad was hot, like hot, dude.
Did you get kicked out of the house still? Or no?
Nah, he didn't kick me out the house, but his eyes did. He was like, he looked at me with like a disappointment look. Every time he looked at me, he was like, this dude's a bum. Like, yeah.
Sucking his teeth every time he sees you.
Yeah, every time, he's like, yo, this dude's a failure.
That's one thing we kind of like have to deal with as people from different countries. Like our parents don't understand that there's different, like you were saying, there's different venues, like there's different roads that you can go through in life and still be successful. And we're gonna talk about that because look where we are right now. The original tea house, and you're the CEO
Yeah.
of the original tea house, and there's other businesses that you got yourself involved. And that's one thing that our parents have to kind of like realize. We in a country where there's so much opportunities, and a lot of the people that usually go to school, some people, you get a good job after school, but some people end up just having loans and debts to pay back and not having a good job and just continuing to struggle. So let's talk about that. So like after you dropped out and your father looked at you with a disappointment, like what did you go ahead and do in order to, prove him wrong and to show him like there's other things that you can do to succeed in life?
Well, after I dropped out, came back and dropped out for the architecture, I told my dad that I wanted to get into business. I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to, get my family to the next step, Your families here, they grow.
Were you married at that time or?
No, I wasn't married at the time.
Okay.
But I wanted to get my family. I'm talking about all my siblings, my brothers especially. And I wanted it to get us to the next level. And like in America, that's kind of like the American dream, right? One generation is like working hard, they're cleaning toilets, they're doing all of the hard labor jobs. The next generation, they either go to school or they make that first step into business. Most likely you're gonna fail a lot, you know. But I told my dad I want to be a businessman, and my dad kind of like he looked at me with a straight face and he said, "You got to stop dreaming and you got to put the right feet forward. You got to make the right steps.
Right.
You can't just skip a whole bunch of steps and go there. You know what I mean? You got to work hard and find your way there." So I decided I'm gonna go back to school again. I went back to school for business administration. And again, school wasn't for me at the time. It wasn't what I really wanted. Like, I didn't want to learn about business. I wanted to do it. So I dropped out again from the business administration.
It was like, man, like.
Yo, my father, bro, if you saw his face, like, he's like, not once, but twice. This dude's like a double champion. Like, you know what I mean, of dropping out. So the second time I dropped out, there was this opportunity. It was a hookah lounge. This one lady on Main Street in Buffalo near UB South, she was selling a hookah lounge called Habibi of the Nile. And we had a connection to try and get it, being that I was like freshly 18. I graduated when I was 16 from high school, and I tried twice to get into college. But again, like I said, I dropped out twice. But as soon as I got out, I was like, let me try to take this chance with this hookah lounge. We took the chance with the hookah lounge. We found the contract was terrible. The lady basically finessed us, by the way. Like, if you don't know and you don't read the lines, and you're gonna make mistakes. And
that's why you have to have like an attorney or something, someone that's gonna.
I didn't know any of that. I was like, you know what? Let me just jump into the lake. Let me jump in the water face first and just do it. I didn't have an attorney. I didn't have the contracts. I did it I didn't have the understanding of the contracts. And you know what? Even though we failed it, it took us 8 months to fully fail that business completely. We had ups and downs, but majority of them were downs until we were like, you know what? Let me get out of here. One of my business partners ended up actually stealing what was left over of the business.
Wow.
Yeah, directly from the account and disappeared. But what it taught me, I would have paid that 1,000 times over. I would have failed. If I could have failed like that 4 times so that I don't know how to fail that way again, I'll do it again. I'll fail like that. And I think everyone that gets into business has to understand failure. Without understanding failure, you'll never understand success or the value of it. You know what I mean? So I had to fail that tried After I failed that business, I tried with me and my business partner. We tried our hand at a couple of other businesses. Again, those were failures too. We tried our hand at logistics. We failed at that. Finally, we got to a point where we were like, and this is many years down the line, we said, you know what, let's save. Like, we worked menial jobs and hourly jobs for another 5 years. And we said, you know what, me and you, bro, like, me and my business partner of today, we looked at each other and we said, we are the only, me and you, when it came to the other business, we stayed loyal, we stayed true, we never tried to play each other, we tried to stay honest as possible, and I never tried to make my business partner, and him as well, never tried to put me in a position where I thought he's trying to do something behind my back to do what that third business partner did to me.
Yeah, because when one person messes up, it gives you that trust issue, problem. Like, now you start having, you start having trust issues. Like, you don't see the person the same anymore. Like, whatever move they make, you want to be part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now imagine the guy took the money and ran off. Like, I know that was painful, but like, how did you guys react to that situation? Like, did you guys try to contact him? Did y'all go straight to police, or like, how did you guys go about it?
Honestly, we tried to contact him. He didn't answer.
Did he go to like a different state?
No, he stayed in Buffalo. But guess what? Like, we went to where he used to work before we got into business together, and we find him there. A part of me, to be honest, man, I could have committed some crimes that day. I'm gonna be honest. I could have did him foul. You know what I mean? But like, something like came. It was a moment of realization. Like, hey, I can ruin the rest of my life because of what this person did to me, or I can shine 10 times brighter in the future and show him what loyalty, show him what trust, show him what real good business will end up doing for you if you stayed loyal, if you did it the right way, if you stayed by our side, and you know what I mean, did the way we had planned before we got into business. So in that moment of seeing him, we're like, you know what? Let this be. He bought a Ford Mustang with it, by the way.
Wow.
With the money, he went and bought a Ford Mustang. Obviously, this dude wasn't like financially literate, because If he used that money as an investment to propel him forward, he would have did better.
Because the car loses value as soon as you put it on the road.
Exactly. So like he made a bad decision, and in the end, like when me and my business partner said, when we were like finally, like, you know what I mean, putting our savings to use and trying to, like, you know what I mean, make more money out of it and things of that sort, we ended up like, okay, well, now I've got a good substantial amount of money in comparison to the struggles that I came from. And guess where I saw him? Working at 7-Eleven with that Ford Mustang outside. The trunk was broken, the hood was crashed. Like, he couldn't repair it.
What a disappointment. That's when now you become your father.
Yeah, right.
You look at him and be like,
But I was just like, you know, at the end of the day, he made a terrible financial decision, even though he stole the money. And if we kept him by our side, if he didn't do that, and we kept him by our side and got into business with him in the future, you think he wouldn't have? You think he wouldn't have derailed our business in the future by making bad financial decisions again?
yeah. I mean, once a snake, always a snake.
You know what I mean?
You know, so like a lot of times it's like once you already did that, once you already do what you did, whatever, you always try to do it in the end. So I mean, good thing you guys actually stayed loyal to each other, you and your other business partner, and actually made decisions to, you know, continue to fail together and picking yourselves back up.
Yeah.
So like also then you also got involved in box trucking.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Like, how did you get involved in that, and what year did you start doing that?
Oh, so again, failures and failures and failures. I'm going to probably say this a million times throughout this podcast today.
Yeah, yep.
But failures and failures and failures. My brothers, I wanted to give them a taste of business. I wanted them to have that experience. I wanted them to fail too, but I didn't want them to fail by using my capital. I wanted to, like, you know, propel them and show them, hey, I've already made some failures, and I'm going to try and guide you guys not to make those same failures. So I opened up the box truck business, I think around end of 2023, so a year and a half ago. We opened up the box truck business. It was like a year and a half of research. One of my friends actually gave me the idea. He was like, hey, why don't you get into this? And we actually tried to get him in on the business as well. But when we finally opened that business, he was supposed to play a role in this business. My brothers were actually supposed to take over and manage that business in full. While they were doing, like, managing that, I was trying to manage this business. This business was brand new as well. So I was like, hey, my brothers, you guys are going to take care of this so that I have the time. My priority right now is to stay loyal and to stay, like, you know what I mean, and prove my word and make sure that my word is valuable to my business partner of right now. I can't just leave him high and dry because you guys, I'm opening up another business. I have to make sure that I've played my role in here too. Yeah. So you guys got to do your job on that side. If you have any questions, you guys can always reach out to me. Now, they went and tried their hand. They tried their best at it. We got the asset. We bought the box truck itself. We got the asset, so that's always going to be valuable. We bought it in full. I don't believe, even though many people will say take the loan, I don't believe the loans are the smartest route because you're basically a shareholder, but the loan provider is the owner. Does that make sense?
That's true. They can take it at any time.
At any time. So I said, you know what? Me and my brothers, we're all going to pitch in. I pitched in a lump sum of the majority of it, and we bought that truck as an asset. Even when it failed, even when everyone wasn't playing their roles properly, and I'll take responsibility. I was supposed to let them know their roles and what each role entails to. So I'll take the responsibility of not being clear enough to them. You know what I mean? So they went and we failed on that. We failed the first time, but we still had the asset. Now, in the last couple months, maybe around 6-7 months, I've told my brothers, listen, this time we're going to do it right.
Right.
This time, like, you know, with my extra time, I'm going to tell everyone their position, everyone their role, and what duties and responsibilities need to be done in the next couple weeks, next couple months, and throughout the next years.
Yeah, that's how it should be, bro.
You know, and that finally we put the box truck back into work. We're getting loads, we're making money off of it now, and it's everyone knows what jobs they have to do, and that to me is how I'm gonna set my brothers up, including myself, but mostly my brothers, because the more my brothers are successful, we're building a dynasty here. My family, my father's name has to mean something.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing about us Africans, bro. We always have to make sure that the last name is left with some sort of legacy to it.
100%.
You know, like you don't, cause that last name carries on. Like that came from like your grandparents until today, and so it holds so much weight on your shoulders, bro.
100%.
You know,
100%.
so like
It's scary
let's
sometimes, isn't it? Like,
scary, bro. Like man, like what that got to do with me?
yeah, no. There's another story about school. I just throw this in there real quick. My dad, none of my siblings ever failed a grade. We never failed a single grade.
I went to school. I graduated with your brother.
Muhammad, right?
I actually have a picture with him.
No way.
That's crazy. I'll show it to you after.
Yeah, show the cameras too.
Yeah.
But my dad told every single one of us when we were younger. He told every single one of us, "You guys are this is our family name, and because this is our family, nobody from our family name has ever failed a grade. Not me, not his father, my grandfather,
Right.
None of his siblings, nobody in our ancestry has ever failed a grade in their entirety." So he said, "If you fail, you will be the first one from our ancestry that will fail." I was like, "Yo,
Nah, don't do that to me,
yo,
pops.
son, the pressure was crazy."
Yeah,
Like,
bro. Like that's a lot of pressure.
that's the way that, honestly, bro, us as Africans, we're diamonds, bro. We build, like, we strive in pressure. Like, we're truly diamonds. We become extravagant based on how much pressure was applied on us.
Yeah. So now imagine they call back home and they're like, man, Norfeld, man. Like we knew it. There's always that one auntie.
Yes, I knew it. I knew your my brother. I knew your sons were gonna be the failures. No way. Yeah. Look at those boys, man. Some handsome men right there.
I'm telling you, bro. This was like in high school,
You
bro.
went to Tech, man.
I went to Tech, bro.
Oh, you was a smart one. You was bougie, yeah.
I went to Tech, bro.
They didn't accept me, boys.
Nah, but you succeeding, bro. Like there's some people
hold that grudge too.
there's
I
some people
hold
that
all
went to
grudges.
Tech that got they're doing nothing, man. But shout out to them though. You know, but we pray for them. But like I've seen some people that went to Tech, bro, and they just as soon as they graduated high school, they just started doing whatever, bro.
Crash outs.
Crash out.
Yeah.
You know. But let's pray for them. Let's pray for them. But like I want to ask you this, bro, because I know talking about the box truck and getting your brothers involved, you know, it's very important to have siblings in your life.
Yeah.
But let's talk about brothers. Like, what's the importance of just having brothers besides you that's willing to, you know, go through failure, that's willing to fight and succeed with you?
I mean, outside of, like, you know, like I said, the pressure, the amount of fights you have with your brothers growing up, man, like, it gives you discipline so you don't be out here fighting anybody. You know what I mean? You only fight when it's worth it now. And that comes into a business mindset too. When it comes to business, it's like, I'm only going to fight the battles. I'm only going to get involved in something that I'm willing to see all the way through. Something that I'm willing to fight and throw every punch, every kick that I can in order to finally finish on top.
Right.
So that we can't lose. You know what I mean? Failure is inevitable. You know, like I said, failure is inevitable. But at the end of the day, it's the long term. I'll fail a million businesses, but if that one business that can bring my family to the next, like, you know what I mean, make a dynasty, my brothers always understood that. I remember my brother, Muhammad, he told me one day, this is maybe like 6-7 years ago, he told me, he's like, "Yo, bro, sometimes I feel like, yo, bro, you're the main character, bro, and we're all just supposed to, like, make sure that you do it. You know what I mean? We're all supposed to be holding you up so that you make the best decisions for us." In that moment, yeah, I felt proud. You know what I mean? But then I thought about it, and I'm like, nah, I can't be the main character. You guys,
That's too much pressure.
nah, that's too much African pressure, bro. Like, yeah. No, but it's them, bro. It's the fact that, like, you know, just the fact that he said that, it made me, like, want to make sure that he knows that he's the main character in his situation too.
Right.
He's supposed to do the best he can ever do. He's supposed to think that he's the one who's gonna bring our family out. But when I think that I'm gonna bring the family to the dynasty, I'm gonna build the dynasty, and my brother also thinks he's gonna build a dynasty. I have 3 other brothers. When all of us believe that we're gonna build that dynasty, when we finally say, you know what, we're gonna build that dynasty, we're all our own main characters in our lives, of course.
Right.
But when we work together, we make our family name, my father's name, we make that the main goal, and that's when we realize, you know what, look, we can all take our own routes. We can all do it, and we can all pay our own rents. We can all pay for our own cars. We can all basically pay all these people. But if we make it a unit, like, if we do it as a unit, we'll all be like wealthy. We'll all be successful. You know what I mean? My brothers are the backbone for me right now. You know what I mean? Obviously, my wife, but I want to make sure my wife doesn't ever have to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My
And,
wife
and
shouldn't
because
have to.
where you come from too, it's always like a man is the breadwinner and
Yes.
the woman is just a stay-home mom. And
Yes.
people have actually changed that dynamic in America, where women, the men are forcing their women to go to work, and now it becomes an issue within the household because
Yeah.
the woman is like, I'm doing this, you're doing that. I come home, I'm tired, I'm not gonna do this. The man is not gonna do this. Now
Yeah.
relationships are not even lasting no more because there's no
That dynamic.
that dynamic is not
Yeah.
there no more, bro. So like, how do you feel about that? Like, I don't want to talk about relationships or anything too much because the main focus today is just to focus on your business. But like, how do you communicate with your woman, to allow her to see your work ethic, that things that you're trying to bring to the table, so that way she understands, okay, it's okay for me to stay back.
Yeah.
It's okay for me to lay back.
Well, my mindset, the way that I think about it is, if you like, this dynamic, this issue, it seems like it's the only issue for people that are not successful. All the successful people you can think of, the women don't work, bro. The women can, like, they manage like foundations, they manage, like, you know what I mean, charity foundations for their family, so that their family is still, they've got other kinds of work, of course, you know what I mean, but their work is not the same. And that's in rich families, successful families. They're not like that. But when you're not of that caliber, when you don't see yourself as that caliber, you're gonna be like, oh well, I gotta go half, and my wife's
Right.
gotta go half, and it just causes a dynamic that's completely outright. It doesn't fit. You know what I mean? And my wife, it's a funny story. I told my wife, actually, when she first came to America, she just got here in June of 2024. I told her, like, hey, why don't you, you already got a bachelor's in commerce, she got it while she was in India. What do you call it? A bachelor's of commerce? Why don't you go and do accounting, and you can do the accounting for like women in our communities. They don't want to go to some random man to do their
Oh, yeah, their
taxes.
taxes, right?
Yeah, they don't want to just go to some random. And a lot of them do them from their houses. She's like, I don't want to go to no random man to do my taxes. And a lot of women are like that over here. So I said, why don't you can do the taxes as well. She looked at me with a straight face and said, that's your job to make money. It's not mine. I'll take care of the kids. If I focus on doing all these other motions, all these other jobs, whatever, then my kids are not going to get the time that they deserve.
All right.
And if anything builds a family, if anything builds a man to get into business and to become successful, it's that family. It's that I got kids to take care of. It's that I got a wife to make sure that she getting chubbier while these kids are eating. And
Yeah.
I need that. So
Yes, sir.
it made me really like sit back and like, oh wow. So because growing up here, you got that mindset growing up.
Right.
Like, yeah, why should I take all the burden when there's two of us? But when she said that, I'm like, yeah, who's gonna lose out? I mean, we're gonna have more money, sure, but who's gonna lose out is the kids don't get no time.
And that's when a lot of kids start actually doing whatever they want to do because they're not getting that full attention
Yeah,
from their parents.
yeah,
The parent is not there to show them that care, that they love them, that they care for them. So when the kid goes out and they see another parent doing the same thing, like caring for their kid, taking care of their kid, their mindset is like, damn, man, I'm not getting that same type of love at home.
that's true.
So that
Put your
makes
kids
a
in
lot
a
of
private
sense.
school, and when your kids are in a private school, you're gonna see the difference where
Right.
all the moms, they take care of the kids, they all coming to pick up the kids and all that stuff, and the guys are making the families rich.
That's it.
Like, you know what I mean? The men are out there making the families rich. Meanwhile, when we're over here, you know what I mean? In our communities, we're like, oh nah, my wife or my girlfriend or my baby mom, she got to make sure that she work and put in 50 just like me. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, it ruins everything, bro.
It doesn't
And
give you that hustle no more.
it ruins everything. But also, we have to look at today's generation. It's like a war between men and women. So like,
Oh no, it's not.
there's a group of people that came and trying to destroy family
Yeah.
dynamics.
Yeah.
Like it's people that come from like broken homes
Yeah.
that bring their ideas, their ideologies, and try to bring it into healthy communities
Yeah.
to try to mess everything up. So
mean-
yeah,
You want to be good in business, you need that hustle.
you need the
What
hustle.
gives you that hustle? That hustle is made by responsibilities. You don't got no responsibilities, bro. When you had no responsibilities and you were in middle school,
Man,
high
I was
school, did you have
chilling.
no hustle, bro.
I used to sleep like a baby.
You feel me? Like,
I used to go play soccer for hours, bro.
not worried about nothing.
Go home, food is ready, shower, eat, sleep like a baby.
That's what there was like. And I'll be honest, I didn't have the hustle. I was like, yo, mama gonna take care of me, papa gonna take care of me. You know what I mean? But as soon as you get older, you start realizing, oh, there's responsibilities. Oh, I'm old enough to help out my dad. You know what I mean? I'm old enough to help out my siblings.
Right.
I'm old enough to do this. I'm old enough to do that. You start to feel like there's a responsibility that's growing. And that's what makes you like, okay, you want a business? You want to get into business? You want to have that drive? You want to have that hustle? Get some responsibilities first.
Some responsibility.
No, seriously, man. That's what all this is. All this business, my other business is simply because I feel the burden of making sure that my family good.
And those failures too.
And exactly,
It really beat you down to a point where like you're like, man, I have no other choice but
exactly
to work hard.
And that's the beauty in failure.
That's the beauty.
When you hit the bottom and you're like, oh, something gotta give. I gotta get something.
Yes, sir.
This city, like every job I've worked, dude, I've worked so many jobs in this city. And like out of all these jobs, I'm like, yo, it owes me something because of how many times I failed. The city owes you something. How many times you worked the job and you failed and you hit rock bottom again. You're like, yo, how am I gonna make it again? This city owes you something. You put too much in.
That's true.
You
That's
know?
true. We're still dealing with that.
100%.
Still dealing with that.
I ain't get mine yet. I don't know if you got yours yet, but
Man, I got my business photography, but just praying for everything to go
you're
smooth.
owed more from the city. That's how I feel.
Yes, sir.
The city owes you more than what you. I could have $1 million from the city. I ain't get enough from what I put in.
That's true. Yeah, all the tax money.
Yo, everything.
You hear like overtime and they take $200 out of your check.
They
like,
pull the shit with you.
Man, they take so much. I work my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And every time I check like how much they're taking out in terms of like taxes, I'm like, what? I don't even know the name of certain taxes they're taking out.
UI tax, this tax.
Yeah, I'm like, I've never seen this tax before.
Where'd that come from?
I knew there's only state and federal.
And then don't forget the Byron bumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
That's it, and those two. But yeah, bro. So now let's just jump straight into, the original tea house.
Yeah, it's my bread and butter right now.
This place is comfortable. Let me take a sip one more time because, bro, because let me say something, bro. This thing is nice and smooth.
Yeah.
I'm not a really huge coffee person, but when I say this is so smooth, it's nice and cool. Like, I can talk about it all day. And I'm not saying it because I got it for free. Because, with African people, bro.
Yo, you got to sit down and drink a tea. You get some cookies for you for free.
African people, you give them free stuff, bro. They're going to praise you, bro. They're going to praise you.
I can't take the responsibility. One of our employees here, she actually designed that drink. She made that drink. She made it for us both.
Wow.
Today. Like that's why it looks so aesthetic. When I make it, it just tastes good. It don't look you know what I mean?
Yeah, she made it very, very nice and
she's definitely she's a very hard
decorated.
worker.
But yeah, so the original tea house, let's talk about it. How is that business going for you so far?
To be honest, it's got its ups and downs. Business wise, it's got its ups and downs. But as its ups and downs, so it's getting better. It's over time. It's about exposure. It's about like finding those different avenues. You know what I mean? To get people to get through your doors. And I think we talked about it maybe in the past about like
Right.
our communities, man. They won't necessarily support you until they think you made it. But right now I'm on my way to make it, and I start to see more and more and more of my people that are supporting me. They supported me from the beginning. Not like my other businesses that they didn't want to support me because they didn't think that I made it. Now they're like, oh, well, we got to go show some support.
Right.
It's usually, the guys that are our age group, guys that we grew up with. You know what I mean? And just in general, business is tough. It's hard. Sleepless nights. Like, you know what I mean? Going through the computer consistently. Looking at different analytics consistently. Trying to understand what this number means and this number means. Learning the tax loopholes. Learning how there's different kinds of taxes that you have to pay. You know what I mean? What they go for. They got new regulations that come out for new stuff all the time. So it's a lot of learning. You're forever learning in business. And just this place, what it's done for me, how much it's taught me so far, ups and downs, the analytics, how to understand them. like it's a great experience, and you know what I mean. The more people that come in here, the more people that show support to my experience, make me want to support them and help them more, make me feel more comfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? You coming in here, when I saw you come in here the one day, I'm like, no way, that's my boy Glory.
I know, bro.
No way.
You know, I've never knew this spot was here. Shout out to, Tommy Champion.
The chief.
And Tommy Champion, really nice guy. So we came here just to sit down and have a conversation. And he told me, like, there's this minority spot that I want to show you. I said, all right, sure. He said, it's downtown. He gave me the location. Yeah. And he told me, like, man, we have to support our people. And I said, of course, I'm going to be there. Just give me the location. So I came, walked in. I'm like, wow, this place is cozy. It's very comfortable. And plus, hey, it's Black History Month next month. I just need everybody. If you have time, at least stop by, man. Get something. You don't even have to buy anything. Come here, take a picture, showcase, post it on your page, promote it. We gotta show love to our brothers and sisters. And plus, it's not just it doesn't have to just be Black Friday.
Nah.
I mean not Black Friday, but like
Black History Month.
It has to be like every single day. So when I came here, just to get back to that, I was like, man, it's cozy, man. This place is beautiful. I was telling Tommy, I'm like, wow, it's beautiful. Like, I didn't even know what to order because the names, the stuff just looks so, like, everything looks nice. Everything looks good.
I appreciate you.
I'm reading a name, I'm like, I want that, but I also want that.
It sounds like it tastes
everything
good.
sounds like it tastes good, bro. Like, I don't know. So, finally, I saw you walked in. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I saw him and I saw the chief, Tommy Champion. I'm like, oh, you guys know each other? He's like, yeah, we know each other. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
There's no way. They showed me the podcast and I'm like, yo, I saw the name. E-Sip Chop too many times.
Yes, sir.
Like, yo, I didn't know that it was you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So it was like, that's our mistakes, both of us. You didn't know I was here. I didn't know that was you. But at the same time, we knew that we were doing something.
Yeah, something positive, bro.
Something to help our community. Something to make a name. You know what I mean?
That's it. And I feel like everything is just like we have went through different obstacles in life where we feel like now it's time to actually change the world.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, where we come from, we always want to be a good example to the ones that's behind us.
Yeah.
100%. Like the young kids that's growing up, we want to show them the better routes. And that's something that, I know your father he's very proud of you now.
He is. He is now.
Yeah. Now he's proud of you.
It took a while, but we made it.
Because you're doing something positive, something that's showing like your younger siblings, like this is exactly, how you're supposed to go about life. So the original tea house. So when the place started to come together, how did you manage, to start letting the word out, like getting to, tell people about the place and welcoming them here?
You know the crazy part, man? This was like 4 years. It was a plan in my head for 4 years. Once we opened the door, that was one part of the plan that wasn't in my head. Like, wow. I did not realize that marketing is a lot harder than it looks.
It is.
It's a very hard thing. It's like, you think that, oh, I know how to do business. I know how to move numbers. I know how to, like, you know what I mean? Play with numbers to make something out of something else. I know how to do this, that, and the third. But when you get to this marketing world, you're like, yo, even if I promote to 100 people, only 2 people will show up. That's the reality of it.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And I was like, as time went on, I kind of like kept learning new things about how to do it properly. How to get my name out to this community. How to get my name out to this community. How to get my name out to this community. And as time went on, I kind of like slowly start to see different people getting the word out for me. And man, this part, the marketing part I think it was the hardest part. I got an interior designer. I got an architect. I got all the stuff that I understood, like how to spend money. I'm good, bro.
Right.
I know how to spend money, baby.
Hey, you feel me?
How to do it, like, you know what I mean? Get contractors and whatnot. That part was okay.
Right.
But when it came to the marketing point of the business, I started to realize, like, oh, crap, this is hard. I am in a world that I know nothing. But time went on, and as time went on, I started to learn, and like learning is what makes it work, bro. If you don't know, if you don't learn, you did it all wrong. That's genuinely what I believe. That's genuinely what I think about how business works. If you think you're just gonna get into business off of what I already know, and I'm not gonna learn anything else, I know everything already, bro. Good luck, bro. I expect some more failures to teach you, because something gonna teach you, either by choice or by force. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
gonna figure it out one way or another. You know.
Most definitely. But yeah, bro. Man, I just want to say, bro, I'm very proud of you.
I
And what you're
appreciate you.
doing in the city of Buffalo.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
No, seriously,
Hey,
bro.
you feel me? Like that's what we want to see, bro. Like we want to be proud of each other.
Yeah.
You know, continue to inspire each other day by day. Because everything that we do in this life, bro, as a man, just in general, we have to live with a purpose. You know, we have to leave something
You
behind,
got a legacy to build.
a legacy to build. You know, you have a woman now, you have a family to take care of, you have siblings to take care of that look up to you. So it's a lot of amazing things that happens every single day in our lives, bro.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it.
A lot of ways.
If I could say that one thing, there's a lot of ways to do it, and they don't all entail violence.
Amen.
Unless you're an MMA fighter, which I love MMA, but like, what do you call? Unless you're an MMA fighter, there's so many ways to do it. But the first step in trying to figure out how to is get comfortable with learning.
Yeah.
Get comfortable with saying, I don't know, but I'm willing to find out.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? If you can say, because when I got into that first business, the hookah lounge, I thought I knew. And I found out that I didn't. You know what I mean? And that's what taught me. It's that feeling of like, oh, there's more to learn. I don't know it yet. You
Yes,
know?
sir.
And I learned from that one. I learned from the next failure. And I learned from the next failure. Even today, with this business, with the box truck business, I honestly will tell you, I still feel like I know nothing. I
Yeah.
still feel like I need to learn more.
That's life. That's life, bro. Right there, man. You just taught me something. You know, a lot of times we feel like we know everything, but there's always gonna be room for more.
Yeah.
Room for more. But just to finish off, because I like to end off with all my guests, you know, to give some sort of words of motivation to the youth, and like, what do you have to say to them? You know, because I know you're a very resilient person. You failed multiple times, but you didn't give up. So, what words do you have for them, bro?
Just persevere. Just keep trying. You know what I mean? If you want value in this life, value is equal. I give this equation to many people. I tell them that value is equal to hard work and time. If you put in hard work consistently over a long period of time, you will get value. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right.
If you work hard and you put in hours upon hours upon hours into that craft, you will get your value. And for many, you know what I mean? Those hours that you got to put in is just like, is just a testament of like how much you want it. If you want it, you're going to keep trying.
Gotta keep trying.
If you want it, you're going to keep trying, baby. That's
Amen.
it.
Most definitely. Man, if you want to keep trying, never give up. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate you,
Appreciate you for
once
having
again.
me.
No, I appreciate you for having me. But yeah, man, cheers one last time.
Cheers, my friend.
This was a nice, smooth drink. I don't know if you guys saw, man. I almost finished mine, but because I kept sipping it.
Yo,
I
feel
couldn't
you.
stop, bro.
It's sweet, huh?
It's like, no, it's not even sweet. It's just nice, smooth, well concentrated sugar. Like, you can barely taste sugar, but there's sugar inside.
That's true.
You know, and you know, I
It's
don't
a testament. Just don't forget, eat, sip, and chop.
sip and chat, man. Yes, sir. Thank you guys once again, man. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all go ahead and follow the original Tea House on Instagram, and make sure y'all leave a comment below. And also remember this: if Bills win the Super Bowl, 25%.
25% off anybody in Bills attire if we get to the Super Bowl and win it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you one more time, bro.
I appreciate
Yeah, outside. Let's go.